Guys, my roleplay tour is rolling on again this week. We're heading on the 21st of June to the Armagh Marketplace in Armagh, of course, and on the 22nd we are in Ballymena at the Braid Arts Centre, and I cannot wait to keep this tour. It's been the most fun tour I've ever done to date, so if you haven't got your tickets for any of the remaining dates, get your tickets now via the link in the description. This podcast is proudly brought to you in association with Vigilante. Vigilante are the new sponsors of the podcast, and what a company they are. They've helped us redesign the logo of the podcast. They've given us the Sly Guy Fox logo, and they've given us a beautiful bespoke range limited edition of Sly Guy podcast merchandise, which you can purchase via their website vigilantexapparel.com or through my website, which they also helped me design, and by that they fully designed it, daveelliottcomedy.com. You can get all the range of merchandise from the Sly Fox logo to the regular Sly Guy peace sign to the Physique Guy merch as well, all available via vigilantexapparel.com. And if you want 10% off, you can get 10% off for a limited time of your Sly Guy merchandise by using the discount code SLYGUY10 at checkout. That's SLYGUY10 at checkout to get the sweet range of merch. This podcast has been brought to you from day one by Modest Beer. Modest Beer, they're modest in name, but they shouldn't be, because the quality of product they bring to the table is elite. Modest Beer have a wide range of beers. You've got IPAs, you've got stouts, you've got the works all over at their website, www.modestbeer.co.uk. Or if you're a lazy bum, you can just follow the link in the description of this podcast. And if you want to get some of their beers or some of their merch, you can get 15% off at checkout with the discount code SLYPA15. That's SLYPA15 at checkout.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Sly Guy podcast. What a fun week I've had. I've been flat out with radio. I've been on the road with my show, Roleplay, touring about the place, and I just want to take a quick moment at the top of the podcast to thank everybody that's bought a ticket to come and see the show. The response to the show has been amazing. I've been totally humbled by it, and the amount of people that have spoken to me after the show or sent me messages about the show has really warmed my wee cockles. So thank you very much. And again, if you haven't got your tickets to see the show yet, there's still some available dates that you can get your tickets now via the description of the podcast. But I just want to take a minute to say thank you for everyone that's come out and laughed. It's been such a class experience so far, and hope it continues with the remaining dates of the tour. Now, into this week's episode, and it was a fun one. I had my friend and yours back in the podcast, Sean Hegarty. Sean is, as you know, one of my best friends on the scene, one of my favourite comedians, and just a great guy. We chatted all things from Father's Day to how mental you can get and whether or not you intentionally want to jump out of windows and stuff. I don't know if that's a phenomenon, if there's a title name for that, but we spoke about that. We spoke about the tour. We spoke about his live podcast that he did in Lavery's with Diona, the Meet the Parents podcast. And all in all, we just had a real nice catch up. So wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether you're under your duvet, watching it in your TV in your bedroom, whether you're under your duvet with it on your phone, whether it's just in your ears and you're in the bath, which it shouldn't be because that's dangerous, I hope you enjoy this week's episode of the Sly Guy podcast with me, your big dad, Dave Elliott, and another wee dad, Sean Hegarty. Sean Hegarty's back in the podcast. Welcome, Sean. It's been a while. What do you think of the new surroundings?
Love it. Looks like a German brothel. I'm enjoying it.
How do you know what that's like? Hey. Listen, been going over the Euros this year. Having a good time.
It's not the bratwurst, let me tell you.
No, true. It's not.
Yeah.
It's,
nice picture of Willem Dafoe. And
yeah,
I'm
big fan of Dafoe. I whenever he was that lizard guy in the
Spider-Man, is it?
Spider-Man, yeah. Was he a lizard or was he he's a goblin, wasn't he?
He was, Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Was that his name?
Yes, the Green Goblin. Big Republican. But he is is a goblin a lizard? Who knows? Write in the comments. Let us know if goblins are indeed lizards.
Who is this right enough? Is this?
Did you ever watch Ghostbusters? The movies back in the day?
Yes, I've seen it once or twice.
In Ghostbusters 2, he's the painting that comes alive and takes babies.
Okay.
But
Very nostalgic.
Yeah, so it's weird now being a dad guy. And just being there's a vintage fantasy pedo who comes and steals babies, but you know what I mean. Each to their own.
I went through a real nostalgic phase about a year ago, and I was so excited one day. Ghostbusters was on Sky, and I Sky Plused it, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm recording this, and I'm going to sit down sometime and watch it." And I was buzzing, and the music came on at the start, and I was all, "Holy fuck, this is!" I feel like I'm 14 again. And then about 5 minutes in, I was all, this is too old and shit. And I just turned it off again.
I thought you were going to tell me it was the other one, you know, like the new one with the women Ghostbusters. And I was like, listen,
no,
I'm a very open-minded guy. But there's certain things,
yeah,
you know, my wife won't even look at a spider, let alone a ghost.
yeah,
So there's certain jobs.
exactly.
You know, that's fine. But yeah, Healy, you know what the only thing was? This is probably like why I was single for so long. I had him up in my house, in my living room. And then
Scared away the bee hatches, did it?
yeah, exactly. Like if anything's going to make the Vigilante go, it's a fantasy, it's a fantasy child rapist.
Although he does bring out the ectoplasm, doesn't he?
Yeah. All
So,
right. So yeah, Skeet is right. Yeah. So he brings out the ectoplasm, but sadly not for me.
Yeah.
But no, he was in the house, and then whenever I met Catherine, she moved in. She's like, he's got to go, and then when it painted the place up, eventually, like 7 years later, here you go.
It works.
It
Nice
works well.
colours too. It's a nice kind
Yeah.
of. It
Sort
just
of
blends in naturally.
Blends in nice with the new logo and everything. So
And then
it's
the
a-
Hulkster too.
Yeah,
And is that Mr. Bean?
that's
It's not Mr. Bean.
it's Jerry Seinfeld, but I mean,
Same.
it could be
potato.
Mr. Bean, same kind of jazz, like so. So yeah, it's a nice wee setup, and by the way, just off the top, thanks everybody who has been watching and listening to the podcast since we've done it up. It's been very nice, and people are buying merchandise and they're checking it out and they're sharing the wee videos and all. So thank you very much.
You have a new logo
for
and
that.
stuff too, don't you?
Yeah, it's like shout out to the boys, Vigilante, Seamus and Connor for pulling that together. A nice fox logo, very sexy.
Yeah.
In fact, it's on that hat over there, but my wee fillet of my arms are too short to reach. So,
You're not willing to get up now?
No, you know what?
Too big a sacrifice?
If I move this and the sound, because then I realise like I'm doing a show, like this podcast is just a lot of people listen to the audio of it, and I'm wearing a jacket that's like, so I'm a wee bit like wary of too much movement because this is a dope Arsenal.
I do like it.
vintage
The
jacket,
more
yeah.
you look at it, the more you notice.
Yeah, like wee bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Like I love the lads and arse, but that's just the Arsenal cut off. It's just a full gay jacket, but you know what I'm seeing right there? Do you see him doing his wee
Yeah.
fingering thing he does? Remember?
A wee celebration.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And have you poured one out yet? The Kevin Campbell.
I haven't actually. You know what? I'll maybe take a wee drink of water for Kevin
Yeah.
Campbell here. I was sad.
R.I.P.
I hated that. Like,
I was
and then
sorry to see that.
it's also a short illness. It's never. Like, It's always like probably something really.
Is that dwarfism?
Yeah. Poor Kevin Campbell's just running about. He's like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
People are booking me for stag do's. What's going on?
Yeah.
But genuinely though, I something has hit me recently, and I don't know if it's like a midlife crisis, but I'm getting really, really afraid. I'm noticing more now age and people dying.
Yeah.
People getting older. People just. I've seen a few things recently, like the American Pie cast, then and now. And I remember them. I started working in the cinema a couple of months before the first American Pie movie came out.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a fucking. It was just a teen fest. Do you know what I mean? And you'd be like, I'm just doing a wee round here, just checking the screens.
Yeah.
And then you'd go in just as your girl gets her bops.
Yeah, Nadia, that was my first live BAP experience, and that was impressive.
Yeah.
She'll always have a special place in my heart. That
Yeah,
Shannon Elizabeth, shout out if you're listening.
Further down for me, but yeah.
Yeah, the blood's still pumping wherever it is.
Big time. But then she's like 59, 49 or something, I think she is.
But I bet she's still hot.
She's still got it, like, she's still got it, but you can tell, like, the aging process, everything, all the stuff to do with that, people dying, like, every time I hear of somebody else dying, like, you think of, do you know, fucking all the people we've lost recently are all people you grew up watching, and you're just realising time is flying. Time's
That's
going too
that
quickly.
happens too. And I think as well, like when you get to our age, like obviously grandparents are lucky to still be here in some cases. Parents are getting to the stage where like a few of my mates' parents have died, and it's just like fuck, life is real, isn't it? Like shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, but on that positive note, you know what what have you
Back to the comedy.
Yeah, wow. Life is precious. That's the message. But what is what with that in mind, like have you learned anything from it, or are you looking at life anyway differently now? Are you appreciating it?
I am. I'm you know me, I've always been a goal orientated guy, and the past few years I've kind of took my both hands off the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So I've been steering with my feet.
Oh, right, I was gonna
and
say,
I haven't been enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the steering wheel has got very smelly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very sweaty.
Sweaty, smelly.
So I'm trying to, put the feet back down on the floor. They work the pedals. Get my hands back out there.
Yeah.
Cut my fingernails. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Wash
just
my
enjoy
hands more.
things.
Do
And it seems like
30
because it's good.
seconds,
I
happy
saw
birthday.
you were on social media again doing gigs, and I was like, yes, there's something I love to see.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, I think like because this weekend I've been out and about with the show and everything, and it's like it's wild because I had a busy week there doing radio, and then with the tour shows, I felt like I was abandoning the kids a bit. You know, I was like, I did no bedtimes because I was out, and it was like in about 8 days in a row I just didn't have bedtime. And see, God love her, like Catherine's like, I'm done.
It's
And I'm
intense,
like,
isn't it? Especially with two of them.
oh
See,
man,
with
it's
two of
hard
them.
going, yeah. And like,
Yeah.
it's a weird thing because like obviously you love doing it, but then it does take such energy out of you for other things. So whenever, like, do you ever get like when you do stand up on autopilot, you're just there and you're saying the words, but you're not like feeling it? I hate that when you're just
It's
doing it.
almost
You're
like meaningless. Like whether you get
Yeah.
laughs or don't get laughs, it's irrelevant, isn't it?
it's like you've learned a script and you're saying words.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you're in it and you're like having there's nothing
Yeah.
better.
Diona's told me a lot about that recently, where she's thought like when she first got into stand up, because she's quite new to it, but she's
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, you know, give or take, with the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
But she has said recently that since she has had kids, every gig now just doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, she appreciates it. She's grateful for everyone
Yeah.
coming out and whatever. You know, she puts the hard work in. She really
Yeah.
does. But nothing compares to your child standing up for the first time, walking
Yeah.
for the first time.
I thought you
do
meant
know,
on stage.
something-
Nothing compares to your kid doing stand up for the first time.
Just doing a wee tight five.
Yeah, but see, but I think it's a good and a bad thing, isn't it? Like it's good, and like I remember once I had an argument not an argument, a debate with Mickey, blocked in a smoking area somewhere. He was like, stand up has to be the most important thing. I was like, well, it'll never be. Because the time I just did Holly, I was like, no matter what, she's more important to me than that. And
Yeah.
you know, I think I was better because it took a lot of pressure off me. Because it's like now obviously there's more pressure on because I have to feed her with stand up, but I think that's part of the thing is like knowing what the important thing is. And then like I think with doing stand up and being able to do shows, I don't like see doing this tour. I've loved like any tours I've done before have been so stressful. I've been freaking out. Like if tickets weren't sold out, I'd be wanting to fucking throw the rope up, and it was in stress. You turn up, you'd be like not in the mood. Whereas this one, I'm going, you know what? I'm going on the old school approach. I'll sell what I can sell, but the most important thing is go to the area. No matter if you've 100 in or you've 4, they've paid the same amount. They you want to give them a good show, so then the 4 will come back, or you know what I mean. Thankfully, I've had much more than 4 at every show, but that's the thing, and actually going and enjoying it. And then, like our mutual friend Adrian Walsh, like what a
guy.
legend.
What a guy.
But he's given me some advice, like, and for anyone who doesn't know, he would be. He's in his 70s, isn't he? He would be.
so, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
but
He's
he's
a
been doing
seasoned pro.
stand up for like 50 years, which to be doing it like any length of time is impressive. But to sustain a career for that long,
Yeah.
he's doing something right.
So much respect for him.
But
he's
he's
God, isn't he?
He's unbelievable and like so good with his time and advice. And he just said to me, he's like, nowadays people get so caught up in like media, social media, and following and what's important and getting your like skits online and blah blah. He goes, there's nothing that'll sell tickets in an area more than going, putting on a good show and then people coming back. He's like, that'll always still be the case, because you think there's maybe some people who have big social media followings, put out a show, sells out straight away, then people go to the show and are like, I paid 30 quid to watch this, and it's not structured. It goes on way too long. It's not just that. It's like,
And then they
what
don't
is
come
this?
back.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's worse.
And bad news travels so much more than good news.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for every 2 people that find out about a good gig, 10 to 20 people find out about a bad one.
Stinker,
like,
yeah.
so, yeah.
And I mean, and that's the way, and I've just been loving it, you know, and everyone that's come out, appreciate it, thank you. The show's been really, it's actually still fun to do. You know, sometimes you're like, "Fuck, I'm still doing this material." Like I have a new work in progress in August, but I'm like, I still like this show. I'm still kind of tweaking wee bits. Like I did a bit last night about, you, I'd give the bit away, but it was about when you're in trouble with your wife and she goes and takes an angry piss. And it was just like in the moment I was sitting in bed after an argument and she, I was like, fuck, I'm getting it now, you know. And it just for some reason worked in the room. And I had to tell Catherine when I got home, I was like, I'm sorry, it didn't happen, but it was funny to me.
Yeah.
And so it's still really good fun, and I'm just loving the whole experience of the tour. Whereas I think we think quite similar. Whereas if we've done shows and maybe it's been a slog, like I hate going like, come and see me, look, I'm doing a show, come and do this. And I feel like I'm spamming
yourself, isn't it?
Oh man, I
It's
hate
the
it.
worst. Even with our podcast there that
Yeah.
we did last night, I am so glad it's over, because now I never have to post about it ever again.
Yeah.
Because it's just relentless.
But then there's stuff that I'm ignorant to, like algorithms and all. They're like, it doesn't matter if there's like 3 likes on it, you're still putting stuff in, and that'll benefit the algorithm. And I'm like, he's it's a robot.
Yeah.
But then you have to do it, and your face has to appear here, you have to do all that stuff.
I know.
And then I found that side of things better because I've not let it annoy me this time, which is good. And speaking of the slog and the push and the promotion, you had your big live pod last night, Meet the Parents,
First one
in Lavery's.
Yeah,
How was it?
Tremendous fun.
Nice.
Tremendous. We had a great time. We had it real properly structured and stuff. We had Paddy Raff on. We had Jasmine Sierra, and we had the actor Keith Singleton, who recently was in The Pillow Man in the lyric.
Yeah, that's getting fucking
What a
big
guy.
reviews as well. The Pillow Man, isn't it? Like,
It just ended
really,
there. I think it only ended
yeah.
like the night before last night, but it was so much fun. Me and Diona decided we'd start the show by writing an obituary about each other, which was almost like a bit of a mini roast.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you one bit that I wrote about her that I fucking loved.
No,
as soon as I wrote it, I was like,
Are you still like together? Just let me check before you read this out. Right,
just
okay.
about, right? So I wrote quite a bit about her. We kept it about a minute to 2 minutes long, right? So I says a bit about her. I says her favourite song is "Don't Stop Me Now," which also perfectly describes her drive and determination, and that's by Queen, which is exactly what she is. Dead. And I wrote that, and I practiced the Borat.
Yeah.
What do you call him? The Ali G thing.
Oh,
For
hey.
about 10 minutes after.
Yeah.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
I can't. It's like Anthony Royal and the Royal Family, him
Yeah.
and his mate. What do you
Yeah.
call your guy from Kurt from
Yeah.
Coronation Street? Constantly practicing.
Yeah, it was
Can't
hard.
get
You just have to get floppy, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm much easier at
That's
that
what she
than
said.
most. Yeah, so it was
I
good.
know.
Good time. Now I saw
Yeah.
some stuff on the socials that I thought were a nice touch, because I think that's important to do things differently where you can, and you just have like I don't want to say if it's promises is the right term, but did you have is that what they call it, like a wedding, promises, gifts for people in their seats? Did you? Or?
We did,
Yeah.
yeah. Tato gave us crisps for everybody.
Nice.
Belfast Whiskey Week, which is coming up in July, gave us a wee bottle of whiskey for everybody. NI Travel News gave us a tote bag with like their newspaper and
Nice.
a few wee things in it. So it was lovely. It was almost just a way of we set up our Patreon. We were like, right, first 100 people to join Patreon get 2 free tickets.
Yeah.
And I was like, so £3 a month, join, cancel straight away, whatever you want. But this is our way of, if you support us in the early days of Patreon, we want to give you something straight back. We give that price guy, give us 250 quid to give to a member of the audience. So we did like a confessions thing.
Yeah.
So at the break, we had like pens and paper out, and everyone had to write a confession on it. And the best one that we decided at the end of the show, we got 250 quid.
Nice. And do you remember what that was? What the best
It was-
confession was?
I can't, because my memory's so bad. Like,
You still on the lines, man?
Are we what?
On the lines, man?
No, that's probably why.
There you go.
I know. Lack of focus. I do need to get back on that.
Yeah.
I really do. Me and Diona used to take 6 or 7 supplements every morning, and I don't know what happened, but we just stopped one day about 3-4 weeks ago.
I bet you feel worse.
I do. We all got hit by a bug last week too. We were in the middle of our holiday. My daughter got it.
Yeah.
Then towards the end of our holiday, my son got it, and then we came back, and my son came back over, who we couldn't bring him with us because he was at school all week. He came back over from his mum's, and he got it straight away, and then I got it, and now my son has it.
See.
And it's just fucking doing the rounds. And
Yeah.
like the boxing's next Wednesday, and I'm still like I had to cancel a gig last week, and I thought I was going to have to pull out last night, but I just
I thought you were going to say about the boxing. They can't do that.
no. Fuck,
Yeah.
I'll fight with. See if I get hit by a landmine. Don't take me to the Royal. Take me to Ulster Hall.
Yeah,
Do
I'll
you know
go.
what I mean?
I mean, that would be. I think Shane would find it hard to fight you in that scenario, because it'd definitely be like legs hanging off, blood everywhere. I'm still fighting.
Worth it though.
Yeah.
You're commentating again?
Yes, I'm on commentary. Hopefully, I can get this wee head cold away from me. But in time, so it don't sound like this. Anytime I get a head cold, it sound like I'm super annoying. Like this one is.
That'd be nice on the commentary.
Yeah. Oh, and there he is, the wee uppercut. Oh, wee combo and all.
You should say that every time you mention like a jab or a hook or
Yeah.
something. You have to go, after.
Oh, imagine like a wee mum. Oh, yeah.
Stop it, used to.
Yeah, but I heard some rumours. There's some rumours going around that you hear about this, because the boxing's the most ridiculous thing, really. Like when you are in it, I'm sure you're so in it. But when you take a step back, you're like, wise up.
I know. It's nothing and everything at
Yeah.
once. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And I've sparred so much this year, which I hardly did last year. And I mean, I have sparred and fucking anybody who'll put a pair of gloves on.
Yeah.
I'll fight them. And if I take a battering, I take a battering, up the
Yeah.
hoods. But this year, I have like fought so much, and I'm getting into it, and I'm like, no matter how, like I've fought Colin Geddes, I've fought Talal Jomar, I've fought like all these bigger lads, everybody. So when I get in there against Shane, I'm like, nothing can beat me, nothing can hurt me. It's nothing I haven't faced before. But in my head, I'm all, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. When it's like, no, just can treat it as another spar. Treat it as, you know, it is just a bit of crack. Like it's
steroids. Take gear.
No.
Take gear. Perform the knuckle dusters. Fuck them up. Go for it.
Do that. Maybe in a couple of years, as the age starts to do you know what I mean? I'll have no choice.
Because there's no drug testing. Like that's one of the things that I've heard. People are like, oh, they're going to do drugs test and all, and then they're like, and commentary's going to be live through the whole arena. That's stupid. Yeah. Like imagine you're up in the ring and I say a wee quip, just something silly, like, or I could say something about Paddy, he fucking loses his shit, and you're like, it's only a joke, mate. Relax. You know what I mean? It's like you just can't. You have that, so I think it's good that it's going on the live stream, and I think like I'm actually really looking forward to it this year. Because last year I was a bit nervous because like I don't know what to expect. Whereas this year I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, I've had fun.
That's it. Yeah, and everyone knows what to expect this year. So I think with that comes the negativity of almost like people aren't as excited, as in the comedians maybe aren't as excited. But they're still training their balls off because they know how hard it is. Even though it's 3 90-second rounds, it sounds like nothing. Yeah, it's everything. It really is. And
I think this year too, it seems like everyone's in bet. Like there's less of a, not an edge, because I know everyone's definitely, I think, more competitive this time around.
Definitely.
But there's less of that. Like people's backs aren't up as much. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people are looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun event. Whereas there's a bit of niggle last year and people were being a wee bit cocky and a wee bit arseholy. And whereas this year everyone seems in great form and they're just looking forward to it.
It's more evenly matched this year too. Yeah. Joe, I feel like the matchups are almost perfect for the whole way through the card. Yeah. So it's it's going to be so exciting. Do you know who else is commentating? I've heard rumours of a few different people jumping in for fights.
It all depends on what the timings of the fights are, because obviously, if it worked out well, I'd like to have the likes of you on the Diona fight, on her on maybe your fight, or.
Well, I was thinking of going out with her on a ring walk, or going and doing her corner. So we'll figure something out.
You should mug her off and just throw the towel in straight away.
The sanitary towel.
Imagine that.
Too much blood in
she's
here.
About to go and you just go, no. You're like, get out, come on, your face means too much to me. I'm doing it for you. That'd be so funny.
Yeah. I think out of everybody, Diona's looking forward to it the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Diona's just not asked about it.
Yeah, but she's also been seen seemingly so busy at the minute that it's probably like a wee bit of a bollocks for her.
That's what it is. You know? I think she hasn't had the time to dedicate to it. Because
and who's she boxing?
Brona Diamond.
Right, okay.
Feisty. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a...
You know, that'll be an interesting one, because that's probably the biggest mismatch in terms of like height and size and stuff, because Brona would be quite short and Diona would have a big reach, but Brona's a firecracker, so you know, you can
and it's the ones you least expect, do you know what I mean, that are going to be the better ones. So I think genuinely that fight could be potential one of the fights of the night.
Because one of my favourite fights the last time was actually Cormac and Ian, like, because that started the whole thing, and that was just a real like, everybody was like, "Whoa, get it going!" It was great, and I think
it was a great start to the night, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think like the last time, because of some of the mismatches, the like second half wasn't as even as the first. Yeah. And then now I think, because they're all, I think throughout the card it'll be great. Then there's like, if you're talking about a proper card, like if you're watching a normal boxing card, you like to have about 4 or 5 fights you want to watch. I think that's the same with this. I think there's stuff across the board. It's even. There's no fights you'd be like, oh, this is going to be. You have to just sit through it and hope that, you know.
Every single fight's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I can't wait. Bring it on. Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
And just everybody being in the same room again too. I love stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? The likes of stars in the eyes, the likes of the darts. You know, it's just great having everybody together, isn't it?
Speaking of the darts, is there any plans for anything like that to happen again?
Yeah, the Fela, I think. I'm waiting on a text coming through at the minute to confirm the Fela. Oh, no. And it's going to be a big, like 500-600 seater, I think. So it's going to be tremendous fun if you're about. I think it's early August, so I'll
if I'm not at the Fringe, I'll be there.
So it should be fun. So I'm going to have different people involved too, and I might draft a few other people in as well. Maybe I'll call it Comedians Boxing, but I might draft a few boxers in. I might draft Comedians Darts.
Shit, as I said, that's the last thing you need. Fucking head up the kite with Paddy Barnes, or you transfer a dart.
Throwing darts with boxing gloves on would be fun though.
I mean, it wouldn't be any worse than some of the standard that we did at the last Comedians Darts. To be fair, like it wouldn't be.
True. Yeah.
But that was one of the most fun nights I've ever had. Yeah. I have no idea what happened with the darts.
I know.
But the actual
the darts came last in the whole night. It just became who wants to get blocked with all the comedians.
Yeah, I there's a photo of me and I've never looked more blocked.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're looking at it, I'm all sweaty, and my eyes are gone, I'm a big red face and all that. It's like, that's a man's having a good time.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, though. And that's what I think people appreciated after. Do you know what I mean? People just look back and went, that was wild. That's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know,
and
if
then
it
it
happens
is.
again,
Here we are.
yeah. But the next time, like we decided, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock that day, wasn't it? Because we were going to drive down that night.
Yeah.
And then we were like, right, let's just get a babysitter, get the train, and let's just start painting. And then about halfway through the event, it went like really civil, where you would come out and commentate on somebody's fight, and then it was just a free for all where everyone was on stage. Then towards the last third quarter of the night, and everywhere you looked, people were putting shots on the stage for us.
But you know what? I encourage that again in the field.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's just you just call it comedians drunk darts. That's what you call it, because just darts, people be like.
I have a great idea for a Christmas special. It's not darts or anything, but it's I'll tell you about it after.
Nice.
It's got the potential to be a complete fucking like slugfest pint-wise.
No.
But it should be a good one.
No, it'll be a lot of fun. Cause I love all that sort of shit. See, just being like, you don't often. That's the thing. More often than not, we see a lot of each other, but it's gigging.
Yeah.
So whenever you're like, there's no stress of a gig. There's no like any competitiveness of people wanting to do. You know, it's none of that sort of niggle. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like even the Christmas night out, that's always great fun, just for
It is,
people
isn't it?
turning up and having the crack. And
Yeah, they're
it's
always
brilliant.
great. Yeah, I love them. You were where were you this weekend?
I was.
Enniskillen?
I had like, you know what? I see right now. I'm almost like a little bit passed out mentally, because I've done a lot of traveling. I was
doing the radio last week too.
Yeah.
So do you not feel great though? Like you wake up on a Monday and you're like, what a busy week. Every day last week it was pandemonium. Sometimes that's what you want.
Just
going
to die now. But it was great. It was like I was doing the Vinny and Kate show on Radio Ulster, which is always fun. But that's the first kind of long run I've had with Vinny, and I've done it with Kate mostly. But to get a run with Vinny was fun too. It was a bit different, and it was really silly. And then amongst all that, I had a lot of PR to do for the tour as well. So I was on Q Radio one morning, and then Radio Ulster in the evening. It was great crack, and then just doing the gigs. It's like you feel like, nah, this is proper work. Like, you know, I'm doing the gigs. And now that said, I think when I tour again, I won't do Enniskillen, Oma, and Derry 3 nights in a row and then go home.
Right. I thought you were going to say I won't do them in the tour next
year.
year.
No. These guys, fuck yous, are done. But no, it did. So I was going from Bangor to Enniskillen, which is like 2 hours, and then picked up Allen on the way via Lisburn. And then
what a guy.
You know what? Hanging out with him's been great. You know, he's such, and like, he's another one who is Allen Irwin, in case you used to know. And check him out, give him a follow. The guy's fucking great. And he's just a fun hang as well, you know, just to have around. And then when you're watching him, you're like, this is a guy who deserves a big following, because he's so funny, and his stuff, you can see him really just feeling what he's saying, and it's so funny. Like, he's like a grumpy wee old man. I love it.
Yeah.
And he's
a comedian's comedian, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think now, like, getting to just hang out with him too, he's a great guy. So it's fun, like, the drive.
Single now too, so he's a different mindset and all too, doesn't he? He's more open, he's more...
Well, he's single, but he's, you know, he's in the dating game now.
Mandy Dingle.
Yeah, he's single, and he's sort of dating someone, so, you know, doesn't take him long, you know.
Yeah.
You say, don't hate the game, hate the player, and
exactly.
He is indeed one of those, but he's been great to hang about with. And like, whenever we did Portico and Portaferry, and this is where I have to doff my cap to David Hull, who's been promoting the tour for me, because some of the places we sort of picked where we were going to gig together, and I sort of went for a lot of safe ones, like a lot of comedy clubs, places where I was like, you know, I should sell well there easy enough, and I've done there before, whatever. He threw a few theatres in there and a few places that I was kind of like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to have anyone turn up to these places, and like then you feel the pressure because he's kind of put those in, and you don't want to let him down. And then like going to Portico and Portaferry, I was like, no one's going to come and see me in Portaferry. Yeah, unbelievable. Like, it was probably my favourite gig yet.
I've heard some great stories of in there.
Oh,
haven't done it yet, but
it was
I'm excited.
So much fun, and like, and it was like ticket sales are like, now of course I've picked the worst time to go on tour of summer, like, but there's enough to have a good time at every show, and some of them are sold out and some of them haven't, and it's still just going and enjoying it. And that Portaferry gig, the people down there were great, and the same with Enniskillen. I was like, I'm gonna have 4 people in Enniskillen, they don't want to see me, and then I just was like actually pushing the Oma and dairy gigs over the weekend to be like, come to these ones, because I just resigned to the fact no one's coming to see me in Enniskillen. Got there, I was doing the theatre bar, sold out 90. Couldn't believe it. Like, what the fuck? There are 90 people in Enniskillen.
Brilliant.
But it was class. And then, you know, that alone, finding out that one had sold well, had lifted me so much for the weekend. I was like, fuck yes, because I thought Enniskillen, I was going to have to call that one in, just go do the show and be like, oh no, and then enjoy the weekend. But I did that and loved it. And then when I went to Oma, I was buzzing. I went to Derry, I was buzzing, and it was great. And now I'm through it. Of that thing, do you ever find when you have a load of gigs, in your mind you get through them, and then when they're finished, your whole body just goes, I'm fucked now a bit. Of that. So like a wee nose cold. I got bleeding nose last night when I got in. I was like, am I having a stroke?
Just out of nowhere?
Yeah, just lying in bed. My nose is really runny. Like, so I thought it was just a drippy snot nose. And then I was like, oh no, it's full of blood. You say we don't put anything into our shows. I'm just lying in bed and I just bleeding out my nose after a weekend of touring. But no, it was class. And I like one of the things Adrian told me too was like, you know, if you have a bit of time for people, it'll go a long way. So afterwards, I've kind of said any of the shows, if you want to have a quick chat, want to grab a photo or whatever, I'll pop out again. Obviously, I'll need to dry my head because I'm a sweaty bastard, but after that, I'll come out. So it's been good to get to chat to people, and like people who listen to the podcast have come up and said, no, it's, you know, good to see. And it's just been really, really humbling. And like,
great, isn't it?
yeah, it's great. And I think sometimes you lose track of that when you're just like especially with kids, you do the gig, you're like all stressed to get home, but then when they're in bed, you're like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're in no rush then.
Yeah.
But then are your thoughts not on the next morning too? When you're like, oh, the later I get home, the less sleep I'll get, and then the earlier I'm up in the morning, and your bollocks the whole next day then.
But I kind of do a thing where I try and do as much as I can, and then some nights I'll put the kids to bed and be like, I'm not going downstairs again. Like, this is me. I will now sleep from 7 o'clock until tomorrow morning and be reset. Which is
Diona's like that. As soon as the kids go to bed, Diona's like, right, let's get a really early night tonight. We'll get a full night's sleep. And like, let's stay up to 4 a.m. because I need to go as long as possible with zero responsibility, knowing all my children are unconscious.
Yeah.
Joe, you can just have your own life.
Yeah.
And pretend that you don't have any responsibility for
that's,
a few hours.
That's the balance though too, isn't it? Because you sometimes feel like, I think with kids and parenting, is that you get into a cycle of you are like two wee workers. So like you and Diona, me and Catherine, we're a team, and our job is to just tire these two kids out, feed them, water them, get them ready for school the next day. Yeah. And then by the time you're done, you almost have no time for each other. So you have to, I think, keep a bit of that in and like have some date. Like that's the thing when Diona put into the group about not doing all the dates that she had booked in Edinburgh, and was like, there's a couple of dates here if anyone wants them, because I want to come home and see the kids. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, because my thought was I'll bring Catherine and that can be like a wee weekend away for us, you know.
Oh yeah, sweet.
So we're going to go a couple of nights away from the kids. I'll do a few shows, and then I'm excited about it.
Class.
You
I'm
know,
actually going over for Diona's last show.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend, I think it's like 24 hours in Edinburgh, but we're going to use that as a weekend of opportunity.
Yeah, well, I think I might be coming.
Oh.
I'll just be standing in Edinburgh jerking.
Coming at the back of the show.
Yeah, I'll just be there coming, and I'll probably cross over. I think I'm coming a day early to just bring our like suitcase over, and then like
by yourself, and then she
and then Catherine's coming the next day, just so the parents don't have as long with the kids. Because you know what, the biggest shitter that I totally neglected in my mind was that summer holidays are coming up, and the kids will not have school or nursery, and I was like, oh no,
out of routine.
That's 2 months of I need something to find these fuckers to do every day.
I know.
And I find like Kevin Webster, every day, Explore us. That's gonna be.
Yeah.
Do you ever go there yourself?
Yeah. Did there about 8 months ago. Going to do it again the next few weeks.
Did they have the Shark Tank all done? Was it redone?
Because
I haven't been
Shark Tank, the big one with everything in
like,
it.
and it's a big over the head thing. They redid that. So
what do you mean? Did they have it done? What?
Like they had a while where they'd shut that down to redo the whole tank and like put it
so
you walk under tunnel. Nice. I haven't been there since, but
that's great.
We got mugged so hard this weekend. You know what it's like when you have like summer, like now Bangor's great for like wee events. So on the Saturday we went down to the Bangor, or the courthouse in Bangor had like a pretty cool arts and stall thing going on. So they'd opened the back. Have you been to courthouse, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you know what the stage is? They like open all the curtains so it looks like a different place, and then the back of the room opens up into like a courtyard. So they had food trucks and they had like stalls out at local artists and all. It's class. Sweet. And we went down there, walked around there, and Assisi, the animal sanctuary, had another fair across the road. So it was like a big open, loads of stalls. Great time. Went to there, and then Explore Us had brought like they're bringing explorers to a local garden centre. So we were like, oh, they'll probably have like, I know, wee sharks and some fish and all in the big tank. And we got there in this garden centre. Obviously, it was a free event. Everybody was like there with their family. So we got there and it was like 40-minute queue. I got to like a paddling pool with starfish. I was like, fuck me,
no.
we've been done here. And it was like, you know, it was just one of those ones you're like, well, you know, these were out of the house. And then I went home and was like, right, kids, see you later. I'm way to Oma here. You know, it was like, but it was one of those moments you have to laugh as a parent. You're like, you know, kids are getting all antsy in the queue and you're like, well, just fucking sit still.
You think the first people in the queue would go to the people at the back and go, here, just
but then what they had, they had a different way out. So you didn't go back down the queue again. So you weren't able to be like, yeah, and there was a guy I went to school with, Evan, who I hadn't seen in years. And he was right behind me in the queue. So they cut off us. And he was the first, like we were the last ones to get in to see this on this turn because it's 20 minutes ago, like looking at the starfish, and then he was just behind me, so he was sort of like looking at me like I've just heard all that because I'm like stand from me to you away from the tank, but I'm not allowed to go because I've missed the cutoff, so he just had to hear it all, and then he's like, my kids again. Now, the guy taking it was a bit weird because he was like, obviously he works for Explorers and he's talking about fish in a guard centre, so it's not normal anyway. But he was kind of like, he just kept like having this weird banter with the kids where he was like, see a starfish, do you like to touch that? And the kids were touching starfish, and he goes, you might want to wash your hands. And they're like, why? And then he was like, you might know this, but starfishes pee from their face. And like the kids are like, oh, gross. And everything he lifted out was like, you might know this, but these guys piss from their face. And it was like, it's so weird. Do you want to touch a lobster? Aye. Piss from their face. And it was just like, and he had such banter, and he kept soaking people on purpose. So he would lift out the lobster, but it would be going and then soaking the kids, and the man was getting pissed off and all. He was kind of like, yeah, just watch. That's piss. He's pissing on you, you know. And it's, you know, sometimes when banter, you're like, this isn't right for this environment, but you're just going, this is great, you know. So that was him. He was just
staying probably.
Yeah, but then he's doing that all day. Like it was actually 3 hours he had to do that, and like just 20-minute cycles. Here's a starfish, it pisses out its face. Wow, next group. Yeah, and it was just.
No way.
But it was one of those ones you go, we've been had there by that. But Explorers itself, I love it. It's great. In Portaferry. So if you're down in Portaferry, go to Explorers, go to Bull and Claw for your dinner and pop round the portico for a wee photo outside the old the Acropolis looking building.
I think you'd appreciate it more if you didn't bring your kids. I feel like there's times my kids go and they're excited to get to the next bit, and I'm like, whoa, here, we haven't seen the turtles yet, do you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah. Is there anything you find, though, is worse? Like, I hate it when I get excited about something for my kids being excited, and then they turn up and they couldn't give a fuck, and you're like,
I know.
What the fuck?
I know. You live through your kids now, do you not feel? Do you know, like, any feelings of, like, severe happiness or sadness and stuff are through your children? Like, we were on holidays, and our wee son Rocky turned 1 when we were over there. Like he's just the loveliest wee baby. So timid, so gentle, so smiley and happy all day. And there was like a wee sort of playpen that was no like bigger than the space we're in now, and there's about 3 or 4 kids in it. And we turned our backs for about 30 seconds, and this woman ran over him, and she looked horrified, and she was all, stop it right now. And we looked over, and her daughter was like just kicking Rocky in the face, just sitting down like that, and he was pinned against the wall like this. What the fuck? And the girl was just like kicking him like that there. And we went over, and Diona like fucking burst out crying, and he looked horrified, he looked fucking so shocked. Yeah. And we were, it was as if we had witnessed a beating. The rest of that whole day, we were like, we felt numb and really down. What
did you say to the mum or the kid? I lost my shit.
They spoke a different language, and she came over and she was like, I'm so sorry. And we were like, we were almost speechless, but we just had to be like, well, kids are kids. This is horrible, this whole scenario.
Fucking hell.
But what do? Do I fight or die? Do you know what I mean?
I'd have fought the kid.
Yeah.
I'd be like, listen,
back to them.
You've crossed the line,
With a golf shoe.
Yeah. But no, that is, and you see anything happen to your kids, like, that's fucking straight. Like, we got a call last week, just before I was going on radio, got a call from Catherine, and she was like, close to tears. She's like, the teacher phoned me from school, and there's like she feels like Holly's lost her sparkle, and she's having some issues with some kids in school. And I was like, fucking hell, you don't think about it. And it's like, sometimes she comes home from school and she's just not herself, and you go, the fuck? And then you're like, she's probably having a shit time in school, and she's always loved school. That really made me so. I was like, see in future if you're going to come and tell me something like this, wait till I'm off air, because Jesus, I'm going on to talk and try and be, you get in touch with the show and let us know what you're having for your dinner. And then it's like, I'm like, now I just want to go down to school and kill people.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's annoying if they fall out with someone whose parents are sound, and you're like, I don't want to have to fight you, but I'm going to have to now, aren't I? And he'll be like, oh no, I don't want to fight you either, mate. And I'll be like, well, respect. Let's touch gloves first. And it's, you don't know how to be at, like, but I just stress about having girls, like.
Yeah, with you saying about like finding out news beforehand, I always feel like if I'm ever going to die, like in a car crash or something, it's going to be after a gym session or after like doing night shift. Do you know what I mean? Like I used to work night shift in a nursing home. Yeah. And every morning I would drive home and I'd be like, I bet you if I fucking die, it's going to be on the way home. Like kill me on the way too. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have to do the shit. Yeah.
But you were saying earlier you are aware of like your own mortality and life and everything now. Yeah. Do you ever, like, I get scared sometimes, like about going like driving down a skill and come back tired, because sometimes I like on a couple of occasions I felt myself nodding off driving, and it scares the shit out of you.
It's the worst, isn't it? It's the worst.
And and a guy I think did it last night in a van as I was driving home. I was like, that van's driving a bit, and he just swerved right into my lane and then again, so he must have been scared shit out of me. But I always think that'll be the sort of that's what's going to get me, like, is driving home tired.
What do you do? What do you do in that situation?
Well,
they say pull in, take a nap and all that shit. You're not going to do that in the middle of the night. You're
no,
by yourself.
You'll never get home.
Yeah.
What I've found my routine is to either phone somebody and talk to them, but a lot of times late, so I'd probably ring my dad or something and be like, just chat to me on the way home. No, just be like, listen, I'll just use sleeper. But no, if they're with us, it's great. But on the first night in Oma, I was there by myself. So what I do, I've always a couple of tins of Red Bull in the glove box of both cars, just like an emergency if you're really, really tired. And then the key is get the window open and get some like rock music on the radio and sing along. Because that gets you going. Because then sometimes, like, if you listen to a podcast, you'd be going along and being like, is this all relaxing? And you're like, I do feel nice and tired. Like, it was actually, I find on the way to gigs I get more tired. Like I stopped on the West Link, like at the lights. I didn't just time to pull over. I stopped and I just took a wee moment to go, right, I'll just rest. And then I was like, I was fully about to fall asleep there, and that in of itself woke me up to go, right, let's just bounce home and get this gig and do it. And then, like, when you're waiting to go on, you're like, I could really sleep here. And then you get on and get the first laugh and you're like, I'm a wee fucking endorphin whore, I love it. Yes.
You know, we went to see The Pillow Man a few weeks ago. We went to like a Sunday matinee in the Lyric, and I fell unconsciously asleep. I don't know how other way there is to fall asleep, but about 20 times in the first 10 minutes. Because we sat in our seats about 10 minutes to go, and because you've your kids so much, it's like sitting down after your Sunday dinner in front of the TV. You just instantly, you just go, oh no, you have like no responsibility for a while, and you just you start to relax. And then I just like I was like fucking like headbutting the guy in front of me like 20 times before like the first 15 minutes was.
But also, like, I sleep in the cinema a lot of times. Like, see if I'm not watching something good and I'm just going with a mate I've not seen in a while or something, I'll go and sit down and be like, I'll see you on the other side. Like, I went to see a horror movie recently with him about a swimming pool that was haunted, obviously. I slept the whole way through it, and I was like, well, it's good to get a rest, isn't it? You know, I don't know whether it's a dad thing too, but you just fall asleep. I can fall asleep anywhere.
It's probably the best place to snatch kids, isn't it? In the cinema during like a wee kids club film at 12 or 1 in the afternoon. The parents just, like, because you're not going into a film going, let's see how the plot goes in this. And it's fucking just a wee cartoon.
But I'll tell you one that I am fucking buzzing about. Have you ever seen Zootropolis?
Yeah.
It's an absolute banger of a film.
You into it?
Yeah, man. We started it yesterday, and like, then we had to go out and do an activity because Catherine's like, we can't just sit inside all day. I'm like, watch me. But we went for a big walk, and it was class. They went on their scooters and took the dog with us. It was just a nice afternoon before a superb trip to Derry. Thank you again, Derry. But we started, and then once we had to go, both kids were like, can we watch this later? I was like, you fucking right, we can. Because then that's kind of like a down, because sometimes for us, we'll, like, if we get them home, it'll be like after we've done the activity, so whether we go swimming or we take them out or we go to soft play or the park or something, we'll come home and then, like, there's shit that needs done in the house, so we'll be like, we'll stick a wee movie on and you just sit and watch that together, because normally they're at each other when they're fucking sitting down there kicking, pulling blankets off each other, and you just fucking sit, and then we get maybe half an hour max to just organise dinner, tidy some stuff away, hoover,
get your hole,
things like that, get my hole. That only takes 13 seconds, like. But Yeah, but you know that's life, isn't it? It's living.
Yeah.
And
What's your favourite of all the movies you've watched with your kids?
my favorite like Disney films, Coco. It's
Right, okay.
yeah, cry my eyes out that every time. Love Moana at the minute. I'm a big into Disney
Yeah.
Pixar at the minute, but
Winter loves
Moana's.
Moana.
But you know what I like about that too, because Moana's a good, strong female character, and like you know
You
a lot
need
of
that, don't you?
a lot of Disney's are all like wee princesses and all,
Yeah.
like getting snogged by fellas when they're passed out and everything. You know, it's like it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like Moana's just out, she's being a pathfinder and just killing it.
Make way. Is that Encanto?
That's Encanto, I think.
Make way. Make way.
Encanto's
How
the
far I'll go. That's
oh,
Moana,
that's
isn't it?
Moana, yeah.
I've been
Staring
searching
at the edge of the water, long as I can remember. What's song?
Never
Really knowing why. Who thought? That's how you know you're a loser, Dad. Yeah. But no, Matilda loves that. That's she'll sing that in the car and everything. And obviously she can't sing great, so it's just fun to hear.
Just listen to it.
Oh man, it's.
I love Secret Life of Pets, the first one. Second one, shite. First one, I think's great.
Is it on Disney or is it Netflix?
I bought it on YouTube for about $5 about 6 or 7 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I've watched it maybe 10 times since. See the start of it?
Yeah.
Welcome to New York.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift. She doesn't do it in a Lurgan accent, but
Yeah.
welcome
to New York, hey.
Welcome to New York. I've been waiting for you. And it scans like it's like a drone shot,
Yeah.
but it's obviously all animated, and it just flies through like New York and Central
Yeah.
Park and stuff. I live for New York. See, since
Yeah.
Home Alone 2,
Yeah.
I just New York's the best. Like
See, that's right. Whenever I was in New York, I sent you the photo of the Grand Plaza 'cause I know you love Home Alone too.
skate,
That was a
skate,
great
skate,
spot.
skate.
You know, see,
Loved it.
like I did a vlog around Central Park. I just got up first day we got there. I got up at 5:30 in the morning. It was all dead, and said I'm taking myself off to Central Park here and go for a walk.
Unreal.
It was class.
Unreal.
Just went right round, got my steps in.
Did you get threatened at all? No.
No, but there was a few bits in it where like I think
Sketchy.
we're in Home Alone 2, and I was like, yeah, I can see why Kevin would be scared in here, because I'm a fucking 37-year-old man. I can probably handle myself a bit, and I've shit myself.
Yeah.
I did see a guy wanking on the street. That was a bit sort of lit.
Was it a mirror you were looking at?
Yes, there's this dude wanking on the street. Oh fuck! But no, we had
Plaza.
I'm finally here. Let me
Where's
in.
Trump?
No, because you're jerking. But let me run this by you and see what you think. Like we were chatting about money and what is life, what is victory, what's winning, and like Willie and Shane were saying, oh, money's the most. You have to have full happiness of money. I watched the guy lying on the ground having a wank. Like, if he had money, he's not doing that. You know what I mean? He's got no boundaries. You know, he's living his life like a free bird, just jerking it in the street, and he was enjoying it. No one was going, here, mate, stop it. Yeah. So, I mean, who's the real hero?
Exactly.
You know, he's not paying taxes, is he?
Probably
Nah,
not.
he's wanking in the street. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
That's him.
Is he into horses? Were you looking at maybe the horse and carts?
No, this was in Times Square, so maybe he's like
Right,
epileptic and he just loves the lights, and you get a super grip and you're convulsing. Like,
Did he have all of the lights by Kanye West in his ears?
Yeah.
That's
That's a good actually beat for a wank. That. Yeah, you could
This
up
is
the
enjoyable, isn't it? This
I know.
fucking-
I don't know if this picks up. There's
Hairdryer?
someone in the full fucking hoovering while we're doing. I should go out and go, would you fuck off, whoever it is. But then somebody cleaning, so
Yeah.
you can't criticise him.
As long as they don't come in here
I know, and at least,
to lift our feet.
and I probably would. I mean, they might be like, listen, sorry, I'm trying to do this here. I mean, let me just go and have a look, see who it is. Nah, I can't see who it is.
No.
Worked out, didn't it?
That's
Just a wee quick listen.
That's all you need sometimes.
Yeah. So, I know where I'll let you shoot on. Just make sure. What
we're
time do you
good,
need to
we're good,
bounce?
we're good.
It's
Quarter
12.
past. We're full.
Okay, 15.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I want to ask you a couple of things. With this, the new look of the pod and everything, I'm trying to get a couple of wee segments in there, but I forget every week. So, I want to ask you, is there something you want to be sly about this week? Is there something that's just fucking getting on your, annoying you, winding you up, but you just want to, a case of, example, like, dudes with mullets, have a personality instead. You know?
Yeah. Very true.
Something like that.
Very true.
You got a mustache, mate? Oh, you're cool. You know? Be able to hold a conversation for longer than 10 seconds. You know? You'd be like, oh, you have a mustache? Yeah.
I hate that. There's nothing worse.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing worse. See the amount of people I've spoke to recently, and it just is an interview of me asking them questions, and you're like, do you want to fire something back my way? Do you know what I mean? Do you want to
Yeah.
see what's going on over this side? No, is it just?
Oh,
Is it all about you or what? It's the worst.
so that's something
Grinds
people
my
shit.
gears.
Just,
Grinds my gears.
and it's like, sometimes rudeness with people. It's like just
lack of manners.
oh man, that's fucking
Drives me
everywhere
through the wall.
nowadays.
Drives me through the wall.
Like,
Even
you-
with Winter too.
Uh,
Every time Winter asks for something, I have to like stop and look at her for about 5 seconds
Yeah.
after, and then she goes, "Please," and you're like, "Fucking please get it
Yeah.
into your skull." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 3 years of constantly going, just say pardon, please, and
Yeah.
thank you. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, if they see and when you hit them with that, they sometimes don't know. Like I said to Holly the other day, she asked me for something. I say asked, get me this. And
Yeah.
like I turn into a black woman. I'm like, excuse me, bitch. Who do you think you're talking to? And she was like, get me something. And I was like, and she went, please. And I was like, all right, I'll get that. And I was like, Holly, you need to bear in mind, I'm not your servant. And she went, Dad, I don't even know what that means. And I was like, all right. And then the third
That's
had
a
to,
great comeback though.
yeah, I had to sit her down and explain what a servant was. And then I used the word slave as well sometimes. So then I had to bring that in. And then you're just sitting giving your child a lecture on history. And then they're like, oh, can we just watch The Secret Life of Pets? And you're like, well, yeah, work away. But no, I can't have it. See another thing. See if you let someone out in a car and they don't even put a hand up.
Here, that's the worst. That's the worst. I made a pact with myself about 6 months ago where every time I get in the car, I have to let 5 people out every journey. Just being Mr. Nice Guy. You should
OCD?
try it. No, not at
No?
all, no. I'm just like, by the time I get
Yeah.
from A to B, I have to have let 5 people out or let someone cross the road or, you know, just
Yeah.
be a nice guy.
See,
'Cause it
I'm the
goes a long
opposite of
way.
that. I play a wee bit of that and I'll be like, I pretend to let someone cross the road. And I'll be like, on you go. Whoa!
Do you do this here?
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I like to do that and let people, because then you're really not in a rush, and especially since
Yeah.
I've been done for speeding there recently too. I'm
the
scooting
worst.
along so slow, but it's like see what's worse, there's a wee junction at the end of my street, and it's a 2-way, and there's if you're looking to go out in the morning to do a school run, like, and there's traffic lights there, it's when someone pulls up and stops directly in front of you, so you can't get out, and it's like, you know, there's traffic lights. What is
Yeah,
being there going to get you other than fucking with my day?
And then somebody goes behind them and they can't move back,
Yeah.
so you're just sitting there
Yeah.
just being like,
And you're like,
You know
and
what?
I like to if I let someone out and they don't give me half, you know.
yeah.
And then if taken to do a new thing where it's like, say if someone's being a arsehole or flashing you or being a dick and whizzing past, just do a big stupid smile out the window to them, and like, thumbs up, because then you see people whitey at you. They're like, going, fuck, you know.
Do
Like,
you know what
the
fucks
fuck?
me off? This is mental, right? When you let somebody go and the person in the passenger seat waves to you, and you're
Yeah.
all, I'm not fucking letting you go. I'm
Yeah.
letting the driver go. Get a license.
See,
Don't, you know,
I've had to try and work on that because I'm bad for that. Because sometimes I think Catherine's more of an ignorant bitch than I am a fella. So sometimes she'll go and not wave quick enough, and I'll be like, sorry, she means it. And then she'll be like, I'm going to do that. And I'm like, but by the time you do that, they'll not have seen it. And then,
Yeah.
like, because sometimes if I'm having a bad day, and that's the straw breaks the camel's back,
Yeah.
I'll follow someone home and kill them with a hammer. You know what I mean? So it's like, they need to just give me away one of those, and then we're all right, you know?
Yeah.
Because that could be a thing.
That's a great car sticker for the back of the car.
Yeah, I'll follow you home and kill you with a hammer.
Wait back when I let you out, or I'll
Oh.
follow you home.
You know what's another thing? It was definitely more whenever we were teenagers, but now you see it occasionally and you go, remember that wee hand thing that were like 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink?
Yeah.
And like people get this printed and stuck in their cars, and you're going, what do you ever think that's achieving?
I know.
You know, like there's never going to be a woman that's like, "Whoa, this guy knows how to fuck," you know, because that's the least pleasing thing you can do to a woman.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was younger, I used
Bowling
to
ball
think,
technique, isn't it?
but yeah, I used to think fingering, you had to put as much of your hand into them as possible. Like, how do you get this? You just fit as many fingers in, and then just like try and feel like it's like almost like putting your hand into one of those like I'm a celebrity feeler boxes. It's like, what can I feel up in here? And then it takes you to be with someone to go, nah, don't do that. You're like, but why? Do you not like that? No, you love us. No, and you're like, no.
Wise up.
And then your wee pinky doesn't have any purchase, so it never goes in the butt. It just sort of fluffs, and then you're like, oh, the joys of being
Did you get it
young.
mastered in the end, though? Have you?
Yeah, what I had to do instead was take sticky tape and do 2 together. I had more purchase, you know. But have you ever seen this thing? Actually, this you might never heard this. I think there's a thing. I think it's called the Cancho or the Sancho. It's something. It's not the Sancho, but it's a thing. Like in like. If I've made this up, I'm the most mental bastard in the world. But I'm pretty sure it's a Japanese like thing that little kids do for banter in the playground, where if they get you with a cancho, they just get their hands like a wee gun like this and shove it up your hole, and they're like,
Right.
"Got you." And there's I think, and I'm sure the listeners will fucking fact check this, but I think there's a statue, a Kancho statue somewhere in Japan of just like, you know, it's like probably hopscotch
The
here.
guy doing this.
But it's just a wee kid down his knees with hands like this just to shoot up his arse, Kancho. And I think that's how, like, that's the aim of the game. You just have to get your mate, and then when you get them, they're like, "Fuck, you got me," and all. Like, but then who's the real loser? You've got your mate shite in your fingers.
I know, exactly.
You know, so
yeah, you have to go and get cleaned up then, don't you?
yeah.
Did you play any playground games at school? Do you remember like the rubber bands one? You'd like girls used to tie like about 100 rubber bands together, all different colours.
No,
and then they would
cut
them in between their legs and open their legs, and there would be like all these holes.
You come in like this.
Yeah. So you run down the playground.
No, we had a fucking stupid game. We played in like lower sixth and upper sixth. It was, what was it called? Knuckles. Played, and we had a £2 coin. No, it was a £2 coin, and you spun it, and then you had to keep touching it to keep it spinning. If you dropped it down, you'd put your knuckle on the table. Like, I still have scars from it. And then you'd put your hand on top of the £2 coin and shoot it into the knuckle, and you'd be cutting it. Like, see, look, my knuckles are all scarred from it.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a fucking stupid game, but it was weird.
Passed the time, didn't it?
Yeah, and then British Bulldogs was a fun game we used to play in the huts until I fell one day and hit the side of a hut, which is like hitting a cheese grater. It was horrendous. Just the worst stingy pain everywhere.
What was that? Was that like Red Rover?
It was like, you know, like there was a guy in the middle and you had to run between the huts and he had to catch you and do that, and that was a good game. And then we loved skipping.
We called that Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, yeah.
That's what we called that game. Yeah.
But Harvey Weinstein, he was a good guy at those days, wasn't he? Well, he probably wasn't.
Back then?
He was getting away with it, yeah.
No. Yeah, you just got away with it. That's the difference.
But you know about Harvey Weinstein, though? He's a stinking bastard, like.
Yeah. Just looking at him, you should be like, here, straight to jail, like a game of Monopoly.
But I think it's funny when people are like full like sex offender pervert taking advantage of power, and then they go to court and they're no Zimmer frame, and you're like, yeah, fuck off, you just boot that out from under him. Yeah, I'd be like, fucking hell. You know, you
should go under his legs like that.
Yeah.
And just like, push the Zimmer frame.
I thought he meant for up his hole.
Should do that too.
Yeah, that's what should happen to him. You should take a Zimmer frame, and when he falls, just finger his arse. Like, hey, you're not laughing now, Harvey, are you?
You fucking Weinstein.
Yeah.
Do you know what you should do with people who commit a crime? The person you commit the crime to should get to choose what happens to you.
Yeah.
I think that's how life should be going forward.
Imagine you're one of those guys. Like, there was did you ever see with Jeffrey Dahmer when he was in court? They brought the whole families in to have like a witness or like an impact statement, and they went to read what they thought. And one of them was like, "I fucking hate you, Jeffrey." And then there's this old man who he's like, "I forgive you." I'd be like, fucking legend. Imagine you did one crime to one person. Like, I chased somebody home in the car. Like, he's like, to be fair, he was an ignorant bastard. I'm with you, Dave. Thank you. You know, but I think like I often think about like the fear that any parent has if something happens to your kid, God forbid, like if someone killed them, like if Ian Huntley did what he did to those girls, I would wait for him, and I would become my mission in life. I'd be like, I will get vengeance. Maybe over time it would change, but I think I would for the most part be like, it's not justice that you are okay.
Yeah, I think if something bad happened and you knew about it, I think I would phone the police and go, I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. This person has done such and such to whoever in my family. I'm going out now to get them. Yeah. Please get there before me.
Yeah, have a race.
This is where I think he is.
That's your playground game.
Race me.
You're like, listen, like Liam Neeson, I don't know where you are, but what I do know is I'm en route with a route. You'd be like, what?
My Google Maps says 2 minutes 51. You better get there before me.
Or else you phone the police, I want to play a game. You're like, oh no. But yeah, I think, and I mean, do you ever think about like if you just lost a temper in one moment could change your whole entire life? Imagine like a punch. You know, like humans are the weirdest people. They're the only people really, but they're the oddest thing because the human body is so versatile, and you hear some stories about stuff people survive, and then you punch one fella once and he dies, and you're like, fuck me. I know. It's wild.
It's awful. But I'm fascinated too by that thing in your brain. Like I was holding my son on a balcony with my wee 1-year-old the other day.
No.
You know what I'm going to say here?
Yep.
And I'm like, I could just throw him over.
Mate,
it's isn't it gut wrenching?
The freakiest thing, and almost picture in your head doing it, and you're like,
it happens to me all the time.
Oh,
and I'm like, what is stopping my brain? Because somebody doesn't have that where they'll just do it. Like, you know, we're talking about Edinburgh earlier. There's a big bridge you walk over to go to the Royal Mile.
I'd walk past that every day when we were doing the run with FNT, and I go, I could just jump here.
The amount of people that have jumped off
Yeah.
that is unbelievable.
It's insane, but I'd be like, I could do that. And then I'm like, how do I stop myself from doing it? Not that I want to do it,
Yeah.
but I could do that.
Yeah.
And do have a lot of people done that? I assume so.
Yeah. Loads
See,
of
I'd
people.
never heard
Yeah.
of
Like
that.
the last
but
time I was at the Fringe, I think
fucking
somebody
hell.
did it, and it was all
Jesus.
blocked off and stuff for like half a day or a day.
That's so fucking grim. Like,
I know.
I hate that. And then like whenever we were at a bar in New York, I'm terrified of heights, and it was like quite a low edge, and I was like, I could, and I'm like, no. And then I started thinking like, if I was there on the edibles, I mightn't even want to do it, but I could just fall over. I'm like, I'm stupid, but I would just try to avoid any danger as much as possible. But that's one of the kids you could just throw them. Like I had it with Matilda the other day. I was walking into a room holding her, and be like, I just throw her downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But what is that? And how many people have done something that they've been like, I had no control over that. Like that's when, I think like I don't know if I believe in such a thing as demonic possession, but I think you can make a mental decision in a second that you can't explain.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck, what have I done?
Yeah, you could just they're standing at the top of the stairs and you just go back of the head. Boom,
Yeah.
down the
I
stairs.
remember that happened once with my mate Maka and Liba. You know them? They were in my the house actually Diona lived with me in, and one night we were all on the beers before we were going out, and Liba bent down to tie a shoelace at the top of the stairs, and Maka just walked up to him and went, sorry about your damn luck, and booted him down the stairs at first. And I was like, fuck me. And he's like, I don't know why I did that, but it was so fucking mental. And he was alright, but it could have been fucking way worse. And Maka was like, it's pretty classic.
Jesus Christ.
So mental.
Now, as a comedian, I say things. I almost had a thing where my whole life, like as a comedian, I don't know if you have this, but I feel like if it's going to get a laugh, I have to say it regardless of the consequences.
Yeah. Oh.
And I made a deal with myself a few years ago where I have so many regrets of me not saying things that I now say them all the time, because I said to myself, don't be that guy. Don't get to the end of your life and go, oh, I caught it on this, I caught it on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking do it and get the laugh.
But then sometimes, like, I had a moment like, again, my first experience on edibles on stage, when I started to kick in my mind, I felt like I had distinct differences between two voices in my head. One that I was almost like goading each other, like they're having a conversation. There was a wee Filipino looking dude in the front row, and one voice was going, do your Chinese accent for him, mate. He's going to love it. And I was thinking, and then I was on the outside going, I'm going to do my Chinese accent. And then the other voice was like, don't be so fucking stupid. Absolutely don't do the Chinese accent. And then I was like, but everyone's going to love it. And he mightn't, but everybody else is going to love it. And then the other voice was like, he's not even Chinese, don't do it. And then I was like, oh, I should do the eyes with it too. And they're like, no, Dave, don't. And then thankfully, I didn't do it. But it was so, like, I could actually differentiate between the two kind of feelings of I was going to do this. And at one point, I felt my hands kind of going, no. And thankfully, I didn't do it, because that would have been the one thing I would have got out. And then, like, obviously, Shane and Willie would have been there or whatever and seen it and been like, Dave fully did Chinese eyes and spoke to this guy, and then it would turn out he actually wasn't even Filipino. He's just tanned from holidays. And you're like, oh no. But yeah, that was a fucking weird moment, and I just think there's so many. Like, that was my biggest concern about coming home. Took me like a week to be back to my normal self after doing edibles, and I thought, have I fucked the whatever chemical balance is in my brain
Is this in New
forever?
York?
Yeah.
Are they illegal, or what do you do?
Yeah,
What
they're
happens?
legal. They're legal,
Right.
but I thought it would be similar to smoking weed, which in hindsight doesn't go well with me. I smoke any weed and it just have a terrible time. So why do I think eating way too many edibles is going to be a good thing? I don't know. But yeah, I think we had somewhere, usually to get we laugh and a good time, I've learned from Googling and trying to be like, when will I ever recover? Have I fucked my brain forever? It's like about 200 milligrams is like, you have a wee laugh. I had somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 milligrams.
Jesus.
Too much.
Christ.
Yeah, and I just couldn't.
So what
like,
is an edible? Weed?
It's like,
It's
yeah,
just-
it's like
you just
whatever
eat it instead
the
of smoking
liquid is. Yeah, but then you smoke it, when you smoke it, it processes differently in your body. When you eat it, it goes through your liver and all. So it's a fucking.
I like the way you went like that, and then you changed it.
Yeah.
As if, like, I'll look harder.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
going,
yeah. Whenever you're smoking weed, yeah, but whatever. I know, I'm darling. But whenever you eat it, yeah, process is different. So I didn't get any joy. Like a wee bit at the start, I was a bit giggly. And that's what I said to, like, I've seen Shane set 1,000 times. So now you just watch it, but I was giggling at it, going, this is working, because I'm finding this funny. But it was like, whenever we started getting, and then I was on, like, and I genuinely felt like when I was doing my set, this is maybe the greatest set that's ever been done by anyone ever. And like even all the guys in the back were like, we had such fun when you were on that. I was like, what was that a moment in time? I was like, that's the best set of all time. And then I was like, no, probably because it was off my dick. Like, and then like I think Shane looked like he was taking a photo of me, and like Dan was like, are you taking a photo? And he was at the back, sort of going. And then he was like, oh no, you're just trying to see what time it is, but you're so off your face. It's like, so it was really fucking weird. But yeah,
Did you do it again?
No, never.
That's it.
I just don't want to fuck my brain. I feel like there's too many fucking things I don't understand about, and it would stress me out. So
yeah, I feel like my brain's already fucked. So
Yeah.
there's no point in me taking it because there could be no coming back from it.
yeah. Speaking of fuck, do you have any dark jokes that you might wanna? Any drug jokes you have that you can think of off the top of your head? Or are you not on the lines, man?
I have. I wrote a joke recently about Madeleine McCann.
Oh no.
Do you want to hear it?
I don't know if I do, but you're gonna tell me,
Let
aren't
me
you?
see. Give me 1 wee second.
I hope to find her. So let me put that out there. You know what else I hope?
No.
I hope whoever's doing the
Wait,
hoovering in this building goes the way of Madeleine McCann.
maybe it's him.
Maybe he had. Imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit weird.
Madeleine McCann joke. No, it's missing.
You sold that too much. God forgive you. Like, too much. I shouldn't even give you this option. But is there anything you want to plug? Is there anything you want to say to wrap up? That's
Something I want to unplug.
on this. Yeah, her life support machine, ideally.
Do you not feel though as a comedian, like we're both dads, right? Happy
Yeah.
Father's Day. We're,
Yes,
we're
thank
two
you.
The best dads
Yes.
I fucking know, right?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But do you feel like as comedians, I have this thing within me where I just like I feel empathy in my personal life, and as a dad more than I feel like more than most people on planet Earth. But I also have this thing that when it comes to saying stuff, that I can't be offended, and what I say is just noises. Do you know what I mean? It's just me making noises out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It's just, it means nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas when I think of Madeleine McCann, I'm like,
Yeah.
every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm fucking so sad when I think about that. It breaks my heart to know that, like, I have a feeling I know what happened, but I have no idea. Do you know what I mean? Who am I to even predict what could have happened? But in a circumstance where you're on holidays and your child goes missing, I fucking kill me straight away, because where do you go from that? But then when I think as a comedian, I'm like, oh fucking here, 9/11 jokes. Let's do this, let's do that. You know, Madeleine McCann. Let's fucking. They're my favorite kind of humor, and I think it's because it's so detached from my everyday life that I can laugh about things that I wouldn't normally laugh about. As a father, as a brother, as a.
There's a joke that you have about a prostitute. It's an older joke. You just sort of wrap the show with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, dogs are a lot like prostitutes. Because the cuter they are, the more money you have to spend on them. And then when they die, you just throw them in a skip and get another one.
That's a favourite of mine. See the amount of times you do that, and people are like, oh, and then you say the punchline, and I'm like, oh no.
And then it's the boom, the week after fucking punching their ribs. Love it. Thanks for having me. Up the arse.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. And you're back. You're gigging again. Where can people find you if they don't already know?
The night after the comedians boxing, I'm in Maherfeld. What do you call that?
The Terrace?
The Terrace.
Yeah.
Me and the owner are both down there.
And you know what you're going to do that night? You're just going to plug my show that's there on the 4th of July.
Sounds
so,
good.
yeah.
Remind me, will you?
You put that out, and make sure you can report back to me that there's flyers and seats.
Okay.
But yeah, Maherfeld, that's a great gig in there. The good people in Maherfeld.
Yeah.
And where can they follow you on the socials?
Sean Hegarty Comedian on most. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, which I'm now uploading on regularly again.
Oh no, again, I was like, do the Chinese voice because TikTok. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Oh, dear.
Hate TikTok, but it has to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
But do you know what I hope happens? Hope they go, listen, we're China, and we've got all your information, and you're all fucked.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like,
do that in your Trump voice.
We're China, and you're all fucked. The best kind of fucked up, fantastic fucked. And then, I just want to do a Chinese voice. I'll
Do it. Do it.
Oh, God.
Do it.
I'll do it off air.
Pretend you've no listeners and just do it.
Oh,
Like
no,
one knows
that's...
it. That was fucking. That's all you had to do there.
Yeah, it's alright. Just a cough. I've got the cold. Yeah. But Sean, thank you very much for having
Cheers, man.
the
Happy
time to
Father's
come out and
Day.
have me. Happy Father's Day. Did you what'd you get for Father's Day? A nice present.
Diona showed me a photo and she says it didn't arrive in time.
That's shit. That's so sly.
But
Here.
I'm getting a pair of boxing trainers
We'll see what I got.
for the big fight.
Not to boast like, but I'm going to boast anyway because I love it. Oh no, no internet. No.
Did you get glasses when you put them on as Chinese eyes?
Yes, I mean I can only dream. Catherine doesn't know me well enough to know that's the thing that I want more than anything in the world. Let me see. Where is it?
Do you know my son
No, it's gone.
came over yesterday? My son's 17. He came over and he literally came through the front door, gave me a hug, wished me Happy Father's Day, and handed me a page that he had ripped out of a jotter. And he folded it in half and wrote Happy Father's Day on it. And he says to me, he wrote in the card, he says, I'm going to go for a run with you twice a week. And I was like, thank you very much. I was like, that's your present to me. I'm like, I don't run twice a week. Now I have to run
Yeah.
twice a week
Yeah.
as like your present to me.
Yeah.
So now I have to do like extra cardio.
Listen, but then that's the ultimate love because he's making you do more cardio to keep your heart fitter, to keep you with him longer. So that's an ultimate gift.
Very true.
Sean, it's been a pleasure.
Are you not going to show me what you got?
It's done a photo of it. I put it on my Instagram story and it's disappeared. But it was one of those where you get like a basketball net in like.
For the bathroom, the toilet?
No, it's like you get it like it's a wee electrical thing and all. And you shoot the hoop and it counts your score.
Oh,
It's fucking great.
Yeah,
like one of those because I like to play those anytime on holidays and like to the point that I separate myself from the family. I spend all the money. I get sweaty and I'm like I'm addicted to this game. So now I have one in my house and it's like it's great. That's the ultimate gift. I know.
You made it.
But no, that's what I'm going to do now. Like there's no introduction to the podcast or nothing. I'm just away to fucking play games. So it's been a pleasure.
Fair play, yeah.
I'm the sly guy.